If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. On this episode, what I want to talk about is phone numbers. Just the other day, I was chilling, minding my black-owned business, and the phone rings, my cell phone rings, and it pops up. It is my man, King Germ. Shout out to King Germ and Queen Germ from Pod and Saved Our Marriage. That's my boy, fellow podcaster. He's been on here several times. And he had a question when he hit me up. And he said, 12 Kyle, I have a question for you. He said, how many phone numbers do you know? He said, that's a podcast topic. And so I got to give him credit for that topic because that's a very loaded question. If I look at my phone right now, I'm going to, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Let's see here. And as I pick up the phone, my mom is calling me. Mom, I'm going to call you back. It never fails. My mom always manages to call. As you can see right here, my mom is calling me. My mom always calls like when I'm recording. If I go to contacts, excuse me. Does it tell me how many phone numbers I have? I have an iPhone. Okay, so it says that I have 573 phone numbers. Well, it says 573 contacts. So let's say I don't have phone numbers for everybody, but most people, let's just say I have 550 phone numbers. Of those 550 phone numbers, if I'm being honest, numbers that I know by heart, man, it might be 10. I know my mom's number. I know let me go back. I know my mom's home number. I know my wife's cell phone number. I know my boy Mo's phone number, his cell phone number. I know Clark's cell phone number by heart. I don't even know my kids' cell phone numbers by heart because, once technology has changed everything to where, you don't have to actually dial the numbers anymore. You just press the person's name and it just dials up. I don't know my dad's number off heart. I know my brother, and my brother and I talk every other day, or we text. So actually that number may be less than 10. Let's just say 7. There's probably 7 phone numbers that I know by heart. And that includes Bank of America, where I bank. But I think that's pretty easy. Or at least one of my banks. My other banks, I don't know their numbers. I'd have to look them up. But without looking numbers up, I'm from an older generation where, we had phones in the house and house phones, and you had a phone in your room, and, some of us had rotary phones. And I've done episodes about phones, but, when it comes to phone numbers, if you're being honest, how many phone numbers if we're being honest, how many phone numbers do you know by heart? probably not a lot. For some people, it's less than 10. For others, it may be 20. Of all the contacts that you have, you probably don't know a lot of phone numbers by heart. And it's not your fault. It's just the way that technology has moved and has changed things to where we don't have to know anybody's numbers by heart. Where I grew up in Florence, South Carolina, at one point there was you only had to dial 7 digits. So like I know my home phone number back home in Florence. I know it by heart, obviously. And so I can dial that number right now, but there was a point in time where you only had to dial 7 digits. You didn't have to dial the area code, which is 843, excuse me. Because even then, that's another thing too. With the explosion of cell phones, the numbers became such a big thing to where, at one point in time, you only had to dial the 7 digits. Now, obviously probably for the last 20 years, you've had to dial the area code first. And so even like where I live here in Atlanta, there might be, when I first got here, it was just area code 404 and area code 770. And then things changed. And like I said, cell phones blew up. And so now it's area code 678. And there's, I think 370, I think like it's like seven different area codes for Metro Atlanta. And that happens in major cities. So, the days of dialing just, 7 digits don't happen anymore. So yeah, that's a question I want to throw out to you guys. How many phone numbers do you know by heart? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it more than 20? I think if you're being honest with yourself, it's probably not a lot because we don't have to remember anybody's number anymore. Another question about phone numbers that I have you ever changed your number? Now, for me, I've had a cell phone since 2000. So at the time of this recording, it's been 25 years since I've had a cell phone. And I still have the same cell phone number that I've always had. The number has never changed. I can't really tell you why, but there was really no need to change the number. And to be honest, for a long time, probably up until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I had a house phone number. Like, and it's funny because we had a house phone number and we were paying for a house phone service and nobody was answering the phone. Like nobody called on that phone. Everybody called on a cell phone. So I don't even know a lot of people who still have a house phone, a phone that goes directly to their house. We have landlines, and I mean, there's a fax number here and there's a phone line here, but it's not on, and now, the way technology is, none of that stuff is required to have. I mean, even like if you have a security system, like we have a security system, it's tied to a whole bunch of different things. So it's not even, tied to a landline per se. So yeah, it's different, phone numbers, you don't have to know anybody's phone number. But again, I never changed my cell phone number. So if someone says to me, "Oh, Kyle, I lost your cell phone number. I don't know what it is." You're probably lying because the number hadn't changed. Now, if you don't know the number, if you don't call me frequently enough, then I get it. Okay. But at the end of the day, no. My number has not changed at all. It's still the same thing. So I've never changed phone numbers. Now, for those of you who have cell phones, and that's most of you, I already asked you how many times have you changed phone numbers. I've never changed phone numbers. Okay, so my next question to you guys is, do you have the phone number of someone famous? And if so, who is it? Who's the most famous person in your cell phone? I had to think about that question for a second because I don't know a lot of famous people. And I'm not going to include my uncle, who obviously is famous. My uncle, Harry Carson, played for the New York Football Giants for 13 years. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Also, like me, a fellow alum from South Carolina State University. So I'm not going to include my uncle, right? Even though he is famous. And And I'm not going to include Questlove from the Roots. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes. If you want a podcast where culture, conversation, and life collide, where you get insightful commentary, engaging discussions, and a fresh perspective on everything, then you need to listen to the 12 Kyle podcast, hosted by the one and only, yours truly, 12 Kyle, a voice that you know and trust. This podcast will bring you thought-provoking moments, compelling stories, and a whole lot of fun. Whether you're a first-time listener or just tuning in, each episode promises to be something new and exciting. So sit back, relax, join 12 Kyle, myself, and my guests as we break down the world around us and give you stories that you've never heard before, from nostalgic throwbacks to everything in between. The 12 Kyle podcast is a front row seat to this conversation. Subscribe now and never miss an episode of the 12 Kyle podcast, where the vibe is always real and the discussion is always worth your time.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
I have a number for Questlove from the Roots, but it was a number that Questlove sent out for some type of promotional thing. And like you would text him and he texts back. And I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't think for a second that Questlove was texting us back, because he put the number out on a public platform. And I doubt very seriously that Questlove is answering that phone, or if that number even belongs to him. It may be a Google number. But I do have a number from Questlove. But again, I'm not going to count that, because I think everybody has that number, or at least those who follow Questlove on Instagram. So I did a little research, and I do have a famous person in my phone, and it is the comedian Finesse Mitchell. If you don't know him, look him up, Google him. Real funny guy, lives here in Atlanta. And I still have Finesse's number because we were in a group chat together. One of my boys and Finesse are best friends, and that's how we just started texting one day or what have you. I hadn't texted Finesse probably in about 7 or 8 years. I don't even count that. To be honest, because I haven't updated my address book. I'm not even sure why Finesse is still in my phone. But if I text him and like, yo, what up, Finesse? I'd have to tell him like, yo, this is Kyle. I'm Whoop-de-Whoop's homeboy. And then he would be like, oh, okay, well, me and Whoop-de-Whoop are best friends. So cool, like that. So I'm not texting him, but that's probably the most famous person in my phone. And he's not really famous, but I mean, that's probably about as far as the fame will go. I mean, outside of my celebrity podcast friends. and obviously some of you have a very famous person in your phone, because some of you have my phone number. So there you go. But phone numbers are important. They are a constant in our lives. And one of the things that I marvel at is how phone numbers really became a part of the music scene. I remember growing up, there were times in certain songs where they would put phone numbers in songs. I think the first that comes to mind is, and I'm just going to give you a few. In 1981, Tommy Two-Tone had a song called 8675309, Jenny. He was trying to get in contact with Jenny, and that was her phone number, 8675309. Again, 7 digits. It's not 404-867-5309 or 8675309. It was just those 7 digits. I'm not sure if Tommy ever found Jenny, but if you're from my era and you were around in 1981, you remember that song because the song was everywhere. It was on MTV. It was on pop radio. I don't know if Tommy Two-Tone had any more songs. In fact, if Tommy Two-Tone walked in here with a Tommy Two-Tone jersey on, I'd be like, hey, man, what are you doing in my house? I'm not saying he was a one-hit wonder, but that's the only song that I remember, and I'm not Googling anything to see if he's still around or making music for that matter. Another popular song was by a cool-ass group from Minneapolis, Minnesota, The Time. You know the song 777-9311. That was a jam, and it's still a jam to this day. And ironically, what I found out about this song many, many years and later on in life was at the time in 1982 when this song came out, it was the actual phone number of one of Prince's guitarists. And so, you know, The Time was closely associated with Prince back then. Prince basically put The Time on, Morris Day and the rest of the band. But yeah, that was actually the phone number of his guitarist. It didn't say which guitarist it was, but one of his guitarists actually had that number, 777-9311. And then there were songs, you know, from the past that was about a phone or a phone number, but didn't include a phone number, like my favorite, Mr. Telephone Man, 1984 hit from the group New Edition. You know, they were trying to get in contact with somebody, but you know, when Bobby dialed his baby's number, he got to click every time. And some strange man was on the telephone telling him that his baby wasn't at home. Y'all know the words, y'all know the lyrics. Love that song. Huge hit for New Edition back in 1984. And then, you know, as we move forward into the 90s, who could ever forget the jam, the ever popular Baby Got Back from the rapper Sir Mix-a-Lot, where he encourages you to dial 1-900-MIX-a-LOT to if you had a big butt. Because this song was an ode to the women with the large derrieres, if you will. So yeah, he subtly, and to be honest, I don't know if 1-900-MIX-a-LOT was an actual number that you could call. I will assume that it was. Not to be confused with the 2000 hit from Jay-Z, 1-900-Hustler. This is a song where this was on the Dynasty album from Jay-Z, featuring Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleak, and the rapper Freeway, where they had callers call in to the 1-900-Hustler line, and they would give them tips on how to become a hustler. Very clever. I think for me, that may have been the first time that I ever heard Freeway rap on a song, so that was dope. And you know, who could ever forget the 2005 hit back then from the Houston rapper Mike Jones, where he really gave out his real cell phone number, 281-330-8004. And they said at the height of his, I guess, popularity, Mike Jones received 40,000 calls a day to that phone number, 281-330-8004. And that's how he would pronounce it. But shout out to Mike Jones. And that's how you have to pronounce his name, Mike Jones. Nonetheless, phone numbers are important. I thought it would be cool to come on here and talk about, phone numbers and how and why they're important to us. Obviously, everybody and their mama has a cell phone. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody who didn't have a cell phone. Again, I've had the same while I've switched carriers, because I was with Sprint at one time, and I think I've probably been with AT&T for the last, I don't know, probably 20 years. And I had, different types of phones. I had the flip phone, and then I went to the BlackBerry, which was dope. Man, at one point we got to have a conversation about how dope BlackBerries were. Then I went to the BlackBerry, then I went to the iPhone. And so it was, and I've been with iPhone probably for about 20 years as well. Yeah, great times, but we all have cell phones. We all have some phone numbers. both personal numbers, house phones. Some people have business lines. And it's funny because even my work number, I have a work number, but my work phone is not even plugged up. So if you can't call me on Teams, you can't call me because you can't call me on my cell phone. But yeah, for those of you who are watching, thank you for watching on YouTube. That is going to do it for me. I want to thank you all for tapping in to the 12 Kyle podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday and every Sunday. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. As I mentioned, we're on YouTube. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are on YouTube, also, we have merch. If you're into merch, we have the 12 Kyle podcast merch. Just click the link in the description box. There you can buy 12 Kyle podcast t-shirts, hoodies, as well as coffee mugs. We got it for the low. Lastly, we have a new baby. If you love this podcast and you're a music lover, check out the Rap Soul podcast. It is the intersection where we have discussions about music and artists from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s when it comes to hip hop, rap, soul, and R&B. Simply put, folks, it's the best music podcast that you've never heard. So you definitely got to check it out. Once again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheer.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.